You said, baby, I'm not feeling it lately, but I hope we can be friends, don't you? Ooh. You said maybe if things weren't so crazy, I could love you like I used to do. Ooh. Then you
This kit's pretty straightforward. You get the arms, you get an attachment bracket, you get the wheels obviously with rims. This particular one, I already got some sand in it. This is the only part that moves, this part right here. And then the bracket comes off. I'm not sure, I suspect it's supposed to go like, I guess it doesn't matter. You can see it's cut out the same on both ways, both ends rather. Two nicely recessed holes there with matching hardware to go nice and flush into the side. Should be just long enough to get through if I don't drop them through the dock. They have a nice arm to them, so I want this as far out as I can make it. The bracket I want to be down here lower so that I clear rocks and I clear ledges. I'm going to do some sanding to get rid of the paint where this is going to go. Then I have to do some self-etching primer because I'm going to be painting the whole boat pretty soon. So I'm starting the process now, getting rid of the old stuff. This is pretty beat up at the back. And then we need some kind of marine silicone to make sure this is going to be above the water line, I think, because just the way the backing on the inside works, there's really only strength to about here. So it'll probably be above the water line anyway, but still, marine silicone. Drill bits, obviously measuring tape, but to make sure these things are relatively, that's pretty even, to make sure they're even and they're not weirdly cockeyed for whatever reason. Love them.
kiss me goodbye and wish me the best in life. Said you needed some time to figure yourself out, but I knew right there you would come back here any day just to tell me you regret everything you said on the day. 'Cause I know that you came. You
So getting the wheels in the boat, not a big deal, pretty straightforward. And they work really well. I've had them up and down the road a couple of times, going to different ponds and lakes near here. They work really well. But to get to that point took a lot of work, specifically figuring out how the bow was going to be trailered without dragging it on the ground. So enter prototype 1. My son and I spent hours building this. There was at the front here, just like that, but thicker, sort of a bow bumper or whatever you want to call it, some kind of rubber thing. And the idea was I'd pull the boat up, the bow up here, and then I'd rope it around the front, or I could put a winch on it and I could winch it in. Great. And I thought that would work fine, but it didn't. And if you think about the physics of it, you have 2 wheels at the back of your boat and then 2 wheels at the front, no big deal. But then you have these 2 tiny wheels that are going to try and steer it. Now I made it so the bow put a lot of weight on the front of this little contraption, and that was a different handle. I had to put a different handle on to hook up to the ATV. But 6 wheels won't steer, and those rear wheels, when I'd make a bit of a corner, would just flip out from underneath the boat, and this thing would want to twist away. So the physics of 6 wheels, forget it. Enter prototype 2. This is actually where this little 4x4 piece is. There's usually a ball mount for a trailer. So this is a trailer mover. If you have something on your property, you don't want to grab your trailer by hand every time. You want to use a dolly, basically. So that wasn't difficult, not difficult at all. Put a hole at the end for a clamp, steel to steel, to latch on to the back of the ATV. All I need to do is dolly this around to the bow of the boat, like this. I clamp onto the eyelet with that, again, steel to steel, and then I lift up. This gives me about 6 inches underneath the front of the bow of clearance, so I won't hit rocks. And what's neat is that this, as it pushes down, the trailer winch, or hitch rather, on the ATV holds it nicely, because obviously the ATV weighs more than the boat. Great, no problems so far. This is obviously not highway rated, but I have had it out up and down a couple of roads, just going slowly on the side. And I went out and I even got a slow sign, just because you never know. There might be somebody on the road who feels like they want to get mad at you because you are driving a boat on the street. I mean, doesn't everybody drive a boat on the street? I think that's totally normal. So yeah, wheels are working great. Soon we're going to be painting the boat and fixing it up, making it look nice. I'm going to disassemble this now, unfortunately, but it just doesn't work. And I think we'll keep using this for a little bit, at least until it shows any sign of wear or tear.